Welcome back, everyone. This is Akinar here with more blueprints. Let's go ahead and jump into day 23. Get it started here. Day 22 was an interesting draft. I felt at the end of day 22, I really felt like my head was spinning. I think that was the main feeling that I was getting. I was probably a little bit more tired for whatever reason than I usually am at the end of a draft. I think it really is because we were discovering some new things, but we were also trying to puzzle through some new angles to the game that we had not before. Mainly when it comes to these safes, we did finally get our first safe to open in the boudoir, which was very exciting. And we realized as a result of doing that the game, or the key to the safes, is not like picking up some random date that's listed in a piece of paper somewhere in some other room. It seems, based on the fact that we could solve the boudoir just based on information within the boudoir, that all these other places like the office and the drawing room, those places are going to be also solved by figuring out some puzzle within those rooms. I do have an additional idea about the drawing room. Hopefully we can make it back there. And also the office, though, is still kind of stumping me, so we'll see about that one. But we did add some new, we did add a new floor plan. In fact, we dug up the conservatory, which had been out back behind the campsite. I had forgotten about the white trees that were back there, but we got that. So hopefully that will show up here at some point today. And we've got so many different things that this game, the list of things to do and figure out just continues to grow. I am going to take a brief moment here and update some of my notes for the most recent rooms that we found here. Okay, notes have been updated. I've added the conservatory as well as the foundation. I think were the rooms that I had not yet added to the notes. And that brings us now, how many rooms do we have left? There is one achievement here, or trophy here, complete the Mount Holly directory. We still have 11 rooms remaining. 11 rooms. So we have, I think, one here, room 8. We have room 19. And I think those are the only rooms out of the numbered rooms that we have left to find. So that leaves, and then I think we filled out all the bedrooms, hallways, green rooms, shops. Nope, there's one shop left. So we have all the red rooms, but that out of the original stuff, the categories that show up in the room directory, we've got 3 that are missing. And so that leaves 8 for us to add via either studio additions or found floor plans, which is interesting because that doesn't really, there's already 5 here in additions and there's 4 in found floor plans. So they're not gonna, my compulsion to have things line up very neat and evenly is not going to be satisfied there, I don't think, unless my count is off. I think another thing, eventually we need to review the opening, not the opening, but one of the Alzara cutscenes. I'm curious to get the Rumpus Room again at some point. Hopefully we get another Alzara prophecy, but I think there was one that was mentioning this opening, or this table here by the entrance hall. And now that we know about the idea of matches or something to light up candles, it makes me think that we're going to be able to light up this lantern. This has got to be how we light up that tunnel outside with all of the crates and stuff in the way, isn't it? Okay, thinking about those things that are probably going to be a ways down the road, who the hell knows? Who knows when exactly we're going to get our hands on some matches? But let's at least start. Let's get going here with the draft and see what our outer room is. Okay, Toolshed versus Schoolhouse versus Hovel. I think this is the day. This is the day that we try to get a Hovel redemption run. We have unlocked the apple orchard, and we have a sauna. If there were any day that you were going to try to get maximum value out of the Hovel, this would be it. And we have a key card. So we're not going to be dead-ending ourselves up against a key card door because I just was being a dingus. Let's take the Hovel. I do want to do a Schoolhouse eventually. And hopefully, if things line up, right? We could get a freezer. This would be a great day actually to have a freezer if we're not spending any gems. And then we can carry those over into a day when we get the schoolhouse and we can just buy all the classrooms. Hovel, though, is going to be the way we go today. Let's see if we can get this done. I think there does look like there is an item. No, maybe not. That's actually the lamp over here. But at the same time, I am going to examine the hovel one more time. There may still be an item here that I just couldn't see from a distance, but I'm going to spend the extra steps because we have plenty of them, because I wanted to re-examine the hovel. Because there's been talk, we know that Denny Ravane mentioned in his logbook a secret chamber in one of the outer rooms. And so far, I haven't been able to figure out which one that might be referring to. Is it possibly the hovel? I had wondered if some of these, like, boarded up... There are these boarded up sections that look like maybe either they could be, I don't know, power hammered or jackhammered. We don't exactly know what the jackhammer does yet. I had suspected it would be a way to destroy crates, but we really need to build that for ourselves to find out. Nothing to see here, I don't think. Don't quite know if this number 45292 really has any... I mean, it's got to have some significance somehow. Who knows, maybe it's related to like the chessboard puzzle that is down in the precipice, because that chessboard is shaped like the house. So there's a chess puzzle I haven't even begun to think about, and maybe it's related to this in some way. Who the heck knows? We do have a magnifying glass on special order. The magnifying glass is, like, I think our primary item that we are trying to get our hands on, because there's so many things that who knows what I've missed. Another reason to go in the hovel is to just... There might be something in a trash can that I overlooked. So double checking everything and taking nothing for granted is kind of what I'm going to try and do. That also does take brain power, right? You're trying to conserve or manage resources like steps and gems and coins and everything. And you also have to remember to manage brain power. That's a tough one for me because I love to overthink. But I can tell there are times when I get into a run, if I, depending on what's happened that run, you know, that mental energy may be more depleted than I had realized. Do we draft mid again? And I think we do. I like this idea of drafting mid and just getting the most information possible right off the bat to see where we're going. Okay. It's probably hallway versus parlor. The parlor, on a day like today, I got to remember we've got the hovel. I made this mistake once before of just snap picking the parlor almost because, oh, 3 gems. That feels so good. Except we've got the hovel. So until we have a freezer, those 3 gems are, you know, kind of whatever. So why don't we just take the guaranteed key? We won't take the key just yet. We'll draft the entrance hall or continue to draft the entrance hall. And then we'll see how this goes with the rest of the draft. We'll make sure we'll get the key eventually. We're gonna take the hallway though, and now how do we steer the draft? We do want to be focused on the east wing because ultimately we are trying to get the master bedroom. Maybe I'm too focused on the master bedroom, but it's one of those rooms that I definitely want to check out with the magnifying glass. So maybe we start by heading... Why don't we draft, actually, first we will... Overthinking this decision doesn't really matter. Let's draft... If we get a dead end here to the right of the entrance hall, like a nursery, I would take it because we've got that door leading out through the hallway. So let's draft to the right of the entrance hall and just see what we get. Okay. They are offering us... Wow, they're offering us a library. They're offering us a library before we get the reading nook. There's also security, and security would be nice to just turn on our laboratory experiment ASAP. But getting the library is really, really interesting. And when you have this hovel active, you're not worried about, you know, if a trophy room shows up, you can afford it. So it's just that, you know, the library does, it's an elbow versus a T-shaped room. But the security is common now. We have to remember we did use the gear wrench and tune down the rarity on several of our mechanical rooms. So both security and laboratory are at common. So that's very, very, very likely to show up again. It's at the same rarity as the den. So one way or another, we're going to be getting some experiments online very quickly. And the library is unusual. So the chances to get 2 libraries here is pretty nice. The library gives us chances at the bookshop. And I want books. I want to be able to get Realm and Rune. I want to get all the books, but I really want to be able to figure out those sigils so we can do more stuff down in the inner sanctum. Because we do have a sanctum key that we can go pick up in the safe house. And we also know that the music room can get us sanctum keys. Or maybe that's a one-time thing, though, similar to upgrade discs. I don't know. But we're going to take the library. But we're not going to draft in that direction just yet. We'll leave the library here. I think we do have a new book to check out. So we'll do that after we draft, though. And we'll see if we can draft throughout the base, the ranks 1 through 3 here on the west side. Let's see what happens. Well, if we're going to do that, we have to take a corridor. They really want us to take a planetarium here, huh? I really don't want to take a closet and close myself off. We'll lose out on the small bit of value of giving the corridor, giving us an unlocked door, but I do want to keep the draft going in this direction. So corridor it is, and we will continue through the corridor and see what we get offered. There's nothing in these hallways, I don't think, that I've missed in terms of notes or anything. We have the one note in the West Wing Hall, but otherwise, pretty much every hallway doesn't have notes and stuff. There's the foyer that does have maybe some crucial information with those busts. Cat Laser Brain, thinking about some stuff. Okay, there's a reading nook. And now, this is really nice because the library in this direction, or in this spot, is guaranteed to point away from the wall. So the library would be, we would actually be able to draft out of it. So we get our second library. Now, it's interesting, how does this work? You know, I would imagine, yeah, the library has a book, I think, that we have. Maybe we should check it to be sure. Maybe we should have checked to be sure. But I want to say we did check off the history of Arindia. And that's what's waiting for us in that first library. So this second library is going to have a request form, right? Because the history of Arindia has already spawned in the first instance. So this is, I think, a pretty easy reading nook. We want to save the bedroom if we can to try to get a nursery. That would be the ideal. Obviously, solarium would be, you know, not bad. But I think we take the reading nook just to keep drafting. I don't want to close ourselves off on this side. So let's do that. Now then, the only question would be, I think we just keep drafting because I'm pretty sure we can get the library to, it's going to have a request form. I think this is how the game works. So I don't have to go like read the book in the other library first. Let's just draft. And we do get to take the library here for a second time. And I don't think the pantry is a tantalizing enough option. I might have considered a T-shaped room that would give me access to rank 3 from this direction, but this is perfectly fine. We'll go with the library here. And I think we will draft from it. We should have a request form here. We do. Now, I guess the only book now that we have not read, we've read all of these except for Volume 5. Now, we can change this, right? So if we did get the bookshop offered here, I would probably take it, and then I would assume whatever we buy in the bookshop would be added to this request form. I don't know if it updates real time, but we can find out. We can find out. Maybe it doesn't. We'll find out one way or another, won't we? There's a bookshop. The only downside here is it's pointing the wrong way. However, all of these are pointing the wrong way. So we don't need a wine cellar on a day when we've got the hovel. So I think we clearly take the bookshop here, and then we have a gold sink. We might just even buy, I don't know, do we buy one book now just to say we've got it? Because Realm and Rune would be nice. Maybe we do that. And then we can worry about spending our gold in other places like the commissary or the kitchen. Because we certainly would want a kitchen as well. But I think I'm just going to wait. We're going to take the bookshop, but we're going to wait to buy anything from it because of we want to have access to those other resources. Those other resources like, you know, steps from the kitchen, because we have a hovel. So we would want to probably buy out the kitchen before we come back to buy out the bookshop. Okay, now I think we continue from the library. We still want to get that key in the hallway at some point, and maybe I should just spend the 2 steps to get it now and not have to worry about coming back to it. But there's a good chance that we come back to draft through the hallway. So, so I'll just draft through the library for now, and in the process, let's read. At least, let's skim for the first... Oh, no. What? We got a redacted version. Whoa. We have a fucking... What is this? Oh, there's a note in here as well. Oh my god, from the Red Guard. Oh, shit. Oh, there is some stuff to read here. Okay, and there's something at the end that's redacted. God damn. Could we be able to see any of this stuff with a magnifying glass, I wonder? That is a huge point of interest all of a sudden. Okay, let's read through what we can. I guess we'll look here at the start. The borrowers. We already know that Detective Bond Margle checked it out, but he actually checked it out twice. Not once, but twice in the same year. Is this... Oh, I see September 3rd, 87. That's the day after the heist, isn't it? Now that we know September 2nd is this pretty important date that has stood out, I guess it was in 87, but it would make total sense that he would come here to check this, or to come to the library, or come investigate at the estate altogether the day after the theft of the Ruby Crown, the Red Crown. But he was also here on March 2nd. Also, we see Mary Jones. Is that our mom? Is our mom not just... She's not Mary Epson, she's also Mary Jones, isn't she? Mary Matthew Jones, also known as Marion Marigold. Okay, so that could be a name that we would want to try in the admin keys. the missing information in the garbage can in the servants' quarters that clued us into the admin keys. Mary Matthew Jones would be one of those names, probably Jones M, because one of the names was mentioned as not being the same length as the others, that pattern of 4 letters from the last name. Maybe you would break that in the case of a 5-letter last name. I had been thinking about Epson. She was originally Mary Epson. We could try both, but we'll add Jones M to that list of things to try at some point. Maybe also I should try the full name Sinclair. I had only tried Sync H. But, okay. Something to try later. The History of Arindia. This book was reviewed and cleared for publication by the Fen Aries Central Board of Education. It has been edited to conform to our department standards, including the omission of sections deemed inaccurate or unsuitable for public dissemination. Yeah, that nasty misinformation as deemed by the Central Board of Education, the the wonderful, all-knowing red overlords. Okay, so The History of Arindia, 2nd edition by Caleb Manning. So, man, this is really going to be difficult to read, isn't it? The name used to designate the realm of the Eastern Waters, no longer, yeah, like, I don't even know if this is worth reading out loud. There's just so, permit our leaders to enjoin us to abandon, like, the entire page basically has been scribbled out. This one, there's a lot more left, at least, but the name of this castle has been scribbled out? What the heck? So Agira is section 1. Most historians mark the beginning of the first era, often denoted as Agira, by the ascension of the first king. The first king, what? Why is this blanked out? Because then it says whose name, Oris, would later grace the burgeoning township in which he was crowned. Oris was known before his coronation as a prominent merchant lord of considerable means and affluence, whose sway in the region made him the ideal candidate for the unification of the surrounding provinces. Regrettably, history is not always forthcoming, and the surviving records of those bygone days are mostly limited to trade agreements and sales receipts. Nevertheless, we can deduce from these ledgers that Oris had but one aim: expansion. The territory spread forth from the heart of Oris, and by the end of the 1st century, the blanked out. And then we get a new kingdom was born. So they give the name of the king here. That's what I was thinking might have been blanked out, was the king's name. But what word would possibly be blanked out there? I'm really curious to see if the magnifying glass is going to allow us to read any of these words, similar to how in the security room, right, there's the note that's like partially cut off. Although we were able to read it still. Maybe I'm thinking of some other note. But anyway, let's keep going. The 2nd era, it was the 4th king. Like, is it a title? Is it a title that's being blanked out? There's king followed by some other word, king consort? Is that what they're blanking out? Who split this vast domain in 3 equal shares, 3 realms for his 3 children. I'm noticing these statues that are depicted here, these little figurines. Maybe these are the 3 children. We saw these also somewhere in, maybe it was in the Arindia Ares Sanctum door where we saw the sigil. Yeah, I did take a screenshot of this. So you've got the it's not a portrait, but like a little circular emblem that shows the queen, Arindia, and then you've got the figurines with the 3 children. But it talks about the 4th king who split it into 3 equal shares. So where does Arindia figure into this? To the eldest, he granted the fields and mountains of his great-grandfather, the middle province and heartspring of the kingdom. The eldest accepted the gift, censored. To the youngest, so, okay. No, it does talk about the middle child. I thought for a second something about the middle child had been censored out. To the youngest, he bestowed upon him the realm of Arch Ares, the land of the northern storms, a wild and untamed expanse which at the time was not as developed, but a good deal more vast than the eldest brother's lot. And to his middle child, his only daughter, he gifted her the southern region of Erasia, a land steeped in tradition. And there's a bunch around it that's blanked out. Erasia was one of the stamps, right? We actually have that here in the library that we could check real quick. Let's actually do that. Let's go to the stamp collection for a quick... Although we don't have the magnifying glass, but we can still kind of take a look. Erasia was, I'm pretty sure, one of those, this one here, right? Erasia Arce. So I wonder if the person depicted here is that the daughter? Is there any other details there that are worth... Not without the magnifying glass. We need to take a closer look at probably all these stamps again at some point. Okay, but let's keep going with the 3rd era. As the 2nd era drew to a close, the 3 sovereign regions had achieved a period of remarkable progress and prosperity. Each of these distinct regions, ruled by their respective sibling monarchs, had blossomed, cultivating the bountiful resources of their lands, and developing a unique character and culture that set them apart from one another. Despite those differences, the sibling monarchs managed to maintain friendly relations throughout their lives and were known for their cooperation in matters of trade and transportation. The succeeding generations of their heirs continued that tradition, and the 3rd era was defined by censored. And it picks up at commerce between the 3 realms, further strengthening their bond and laying the foundation for the promise of a prosperous and bright future. God damn. Okay, so this is, I think, another reason to... This book, we're not done with it yet, but this is the one that's sold in the bookshop, is it not? I'm going to check my notes real quick. Oh, I see. In the bookshop for 50 gold is History of Arindia 1st edition. I would presume that is an uncensored version, but I don't know. If Mr. Margle is coming through here, then maybe he went through the bookshop, and even the stuff that we're buying has had the heavy hand of the red censor. But my suspicion was that buying these books in the bookshop, like Realm and Rune, which we already read a copy, but it had half the pages torn out, we're going to get the full unedited, unabridged, uncut version by getting it through the bookshop. But I don't know. We'll see. It's actually a different edition that we're going to be picking up. Now, of course, another detail here is the picture on the right that shows us the core symbols that we know are part of those sigils. I'm pretty sure this one in the middle has to be Arinda, doesn't it? Like we can, it's been censored. That's the funny thing, right? It's like they're going through and they're censoring so much that is related to, well, who knows exactly what it's all related to, but definitely the fact that the other two symbols are left intact, but there's a censored symbol over the Arinda core. What the heck is up with that? But I think, as we suspected, Iraja is the southern kingdom here, right? So that was gifted to the daughter, Iraja, and we know that that hourglass shape is also on the stamp. The mountain is going to be, oh, that's maybe what's been blocked out, right? We see the names of the other two regions. No, here it is. No, he bestowed to the youngest the land of the northern storms, Arch Aries. Okay, so this one with the mountains on it is Arch Aries. Got it. And then the middle one is Arinda, and that's probably what's been blanked out on this page. Okay, we'll read page 4 before we read the note. Or at least what we can. So much has been blanked out. The fourth era. As the kingdom entered the fourth era, a different kind of ruler took the reins of power. King Desolates III was a censored king who was often seen censored drinking. What could they be blanking out here? A sight that shocked not only the gentry and the court, but the masses as well. Desolates was renowned as the king of being censored. No one when he made the decision to move. What they censored like half a word here. What? Ving Castle and court behind, leaving, I guess. The people were overjoyed. Why would you not just, you ran out of censor tape apparently on that one. The people were overjoyed by this choice and were those that viewed the king's conduct to be unbecoming of his common folk. Voices planted the seed, which took root in grand city of Fen. Oh, this is leading up to the establishment of Fen Aries. But there's so much here that's blanked out. Okay, let's read this note from the detective of the Red Guard. Baron Sinclair, thank you so much for your cooperation with our department and this investigation. We know our presence is never convenient, especially for someone of your social status. So it means all the more that you're not only tolerant, but also willing to aid our efforts in getting this business done as quickly as possible. Maybe this is part of what I think our dad's letter that we read last time, our second red letter that we've picked up, he was admonishing, or he was upset with the Baron over maybe what is being referenced here, the fact that he's just playing along, going right along with the Red Guard. We are returning with this letter the book you lent us, though I must confess it was not as much help as I had hoped. I had heard that your library of rare and restricted books was quite extensive, and I was told by a reliable source that if a first edition, there it is, the first edition and uncensored copy of the history of Arindia could be found, it would likely be found within the Baron's own collection, but perhaps I was misinformed. Nope. No, Mr. Margle, you were not. It just, you needed to pay up. You needed to head to the bookshop, which it's interesting how we could have ordered these book borrow requests could have been done in a different order. We prioritized the drafting strategy ones, and others I was like, I don't know why this history of Arindia is important. We could have gotten this one first, and then it would have been quite some time still before we would have had access to the bookshop the way that things have played out. In our particular case, we're just getting it when we already have access and accessed the bookshop, drafted it several times already. Still, part of me thinks that you may have given me the censored copy as a jest, a taste, if you will, for the bureaucrat of their own medicine. If that is the case, then I say, well done, fair play. And perhaps on my next visit, we'll have a laugh about this after you've given me the actual manuscript. Okay, it's not the detective that was doing the censoring. This had already been done by whatever bureaucracy. We see the Department of Education, whatever they were called. Central Board of Education. There it is. The commissars at the Central Board. So Mr. Margle, just in this case at least, just a regular old detective. Not actually a court censor. I take it back. Bon. Bon or Don? Bon. What a funny first name. Okay. Section 5, Era of Ruin. After the passing of King Desolates III, the fourth era came to an abrupt end. Thankfully, the king died. There's more to say there, but we don't know what it is. On the very next day, thankfully the king died. On the very next day, the 6th of October, Prince Learson of Fen declared himself the true monarch. There's some part of these titles that is being censored. What the heck is going on there? This declaration was bolstered by a blank number of supporters due to the fact that Desolates the Fourth, there was a Desolates the Fourth, shared little of his virtues. So things went south under Desolate the Fourth, and then Prince Learson comes along and he's like, you know what? Screw it. Things are so bad. I'm becoming the monarch, which of course has never happened before in human history. As the prospect of civil war seemed inevitable, the realm's regiments were hastily recalled from the frontiers to stamp out and put an end to the Fensurrection. Wow. However, instead of restoring order, what ensued was a savage and merciless campaign against their own people. The gardens of Fen, once a center of splendor, were transformed into a battlefield as the cries of the innocent echoed through the city's streets, stained in red. So there was quite a violent takeover, a violent revolution. And so it's no wonder that you would have so many people like our mother and the Blackwater insurgents and others that want to see this overthrown. They initially fought and were defeated, it seems, but they weren't able to be. Prince Learson was not able to completely stamp them out. The brutality of the pacification of Fen did not go unnoticed by neighbors. As sympathy for the city surged, allies came forward to lend support. Among them was the general of the Northern Regiment, who, sickened by the barbaric actions of the other battalions, joined forces with Prince Learson to form a formidable army. Oh, wait a second. So who was the brutality? A merciless campaign against their own people. So is it not Prince Learson who's being the merciless one here? Or it was Prince Learson who was attempting to be stamped out? I see. Maybe by Desolates the Fourth. This was the Civil War. Prince Learson said, I'm going to be the monarch of this area, at least of Fen, and the current ruling order that was where Fen was underneath their control, supposedly, they said, no, we're not doing that. I see. So it's Prince Learson being joined by the general of the Northern Regiment. Together, they leveraged their political influence and favors to persuade the nearby realms of Arch Ares and Nuance to join their cause. Nuance is a nearby realm. We saw that on the stamp with the blimp. I thought, okay, Nuance, that's more like that's like a slogan than it is the name of a country or a realm. I guess they really wanted to say, hey, we are nuanced. We're so nuanced. That's what we're naming our country. However, even with the tide turning in their favor, victory did not come easy. The War of the Fifth Era lasted 22 long years and saw buried 1 in every 3 men. That's insane that it was only 1 in 3 men over 22 years. Are you kidding me? That's when you think, I'm just, comparing it to, I guess, at least more recent modern wars in real life. Like the world wars took, how many countless lives, and they only lasted, I guess, the American involvement in World War II, which is kind of where I sit from in my perspective. It only lasted 4 years, but the offensive by Hitler and his allies would have started many years earlier. So, 22 years compared to, I guess, what was it, 1939? No, I was thinking maybe Hitler would have started earlier in the 30s. So maybe even when he got started, the conflicts lasted, 6-7 years? It's just that 22 years feels so much longer than anything else that I have recent context for. Prince Learson himself added another number to the casualties. Added himself? He was also killed. However, even in death, he had won. Oris had fallen, and with it the realm. The black flags that had flown for 5 eras were burned, and in their place, red banners were hoisted in honor of the fallen of Fen. The few remaining members of the former royal family fled in fear of their lives to the south, forever exiled. This is really fascinating because it is, now maybe this is an author who is really sympathetic to the current ruling order. Maybe Caleb Manning. Caleb Manning. Isn't that guy supposed to be on our side though? Manning, he was one of the people that was in the Blackwater insurgents. So he's writing this. It almost sounds like he's writing sympathetically toward Fen and the red the red order that supplanted the black flags. But maybe the red order didn't, or, the red banners and Prince Learson, maybe they didn't start so bad. Maybe it's become corrupted over time and become more authoritarian and more dictatorial over time. I don't know. It's really interesting though. So that brings us to the current era. Today, the realm's inherited by the 3, Fen Ares, Arch Ares, and Araja. They call it Arch Ares. So then, okay, well then Fen Ares, Arch Ares, the 3 realms. We know that Fen Ares is a completely different symbol. It's like it's a pentagon. Is Fen Ares supposed to be where the mountain? What was the mountain region called again? Well, that's Arch Ares, but that's still here. How does I'm not sure how. Oh, but of course, Arindia becomes Fen Ares. That's what it is. Duh, of course. And that's why it's crossed out, because now Fen Ares exists. Duh, that's the answer. Easy answer. Fen Ares, Arch Ares, and Araja once again stand united as allies. Though the distance between our peoples has grown, our connection to this land remains as strong as ever. The spruce and birch that span across our realms serve as a constant reminder that we all share a common past. And then, once again, censored. For this is, despite everything else, a land rich in history, a land of myth and wonder, a land that sprung forth the greatest empire the world has ever seen, the land of our fathers, of our mothers, and of our children. And that brings us to the end, where there is a name that's been blanked out. Okay, we really, really, really now want to get our hands on that uncensored first edition. Maybe there's some stuff I don't think the magnifying glass is going to shed a lot of light here. I don't think it's going to be like that situation that we had before, where we could all of a sudden read things that we couldn't otherwise. I think the censors have done their job thoroughly enough there. Okay, we draft from the library and see what we get. Oh my God, that is a vault, which I want because I want to be able to buy stuff in the library. And maybe we just take it. But if we take that vault, there's also a conference room. So this is an interesting pick. It is an interesting decision here because a conference room is so nice if we are able to get our hands on the office and a secret garden and a locker room. We were really searching for a conference room last time. But the vault would definitely just, it could be, maybe at some point I should just, say to myself, it's okay if our draft doesn't go 40 whatever rooms. We don't have to have a marathon draft every single time. You can just have some days where, hey, you've got a bookshop here. Just take the vault, because that means you're going to be able to buy 2 of the books in the bookshop that you want to get, and maybe more depending on how the rest of the run goes. Just take the vault that, is showing up here because you're drafting a library. And count on the fact that the door out of the hallway is going to get you places. Something else I have to remember is we do have the foundation now. So if somehow the draft went wrong here, I could theoretically go out to the basement and ride the elevator up the foundation and continue my draft there. The only problem is keys. So, you're starting in rank 5, even though you got 3 doors. You do have to have keys to open those doors. So, but it is an option to consider. With that said, the vault with the bookshop is very, very tempting. But if we get a conference room, as soon as we get one of our either security room or laboratory, or maybe even the office itself. But if we get one of those two common rooms that has a terminal, now we have access to the office because of the grotto. So we can spread gold to the conference room, and it could essentially act as a vault, depending on how big our house is at the time. So we could have a vault coming back to the bookshop to end our draft. And we could get steps as well if we get a secret garden. Locker room, there's, the spread is good for us. And the conference room is really helpful in that regard. So let's do that. And it lets us continue to draft in the rest of this, the base. Building our base is the way I like to do things. So let's keep it going. And who knows, maybe there are some details that I have missed in the conference room. The safe code 9083 it's a red note. We know the red notes are lies, but why would it give us 9083? Is it supposed to be a clue to something? 83 could theoretically be a year, and maybe, I don't know, you could reverse this and say 0983, September 83. I don't know. What would be the point of that note? Because sometimes the lies can still lead you in a positive direction. For now, we'll keep... I do want to get the key from the hallway at some point. Maybe I should just get that now. But I feel like we're going to be coming back to the hallway eventually. So one way or the other, we're going to be getting that key. Let's draft through the other door in the conference room, though. I want to draft all of my rooms here if I can. And I don't really want to take a patio. So I guess we're taking a chapel and we're paying the tithe. We're hoping to put the storeroom below the chapel. And when we're this rich, we don't mind paying the tithe. And who knows, there might be some coins in the chapel itself. So let's take it. Yep, let's keep building out our base. Take the chapel. And I will draft in this direction. I don't see any gems or coins to pick up. Let's draft the dead end. Hopefully a dead end. A nursery would be fantastic. Oh, wow. They give us a conservatory here. I guess we got to take the new room, huh? It is unusual rarity, is it not? Let me just double check. Since I did take those screenshots to make sure that I'm able to remember, it is unusual rarity. So this might be our only chance to draft it. And it's a new room. So we got to see what's up with the conservatory, don't we? Let's check it out. I have a feeling it's basically going to allow us to change the rarity of one of 3 rooms. But that's my guess. Let's find out for sure. There is a dig site here. And there's a note. Drafting locations. Aha, it's showing us some information that we probably already know. West Wing only, garage, West Wing hall, and Her Ladyship's chamber from south-facing doors. Oh, I don't know if I had picked up on that detail exactly. You have to draft down the West Wing to get Her Ladyship's chamber. East Wing only, East Wing hall, and master bedroom. But you don't have that same limitation with the master bedroom. You just need to be drafting into the East Wing. Why is it like that with Her Ladyship's chamber? From south-facing doors. It has to be in that alignment. Other special cases. Conservatory, only draftable in a corner. I see. This is like one of the only places that we can draft it. Only in a corner. And a bookshop is only draftable from the library. We know that. Okay? Screenshot that, but I feel like I'll probably memorize that information pretty quickly. Most of it's already memorized. Still no secret books to interact with on any of these bookshelves throughout the various rooms. Anything hidden in the plants. I'm trying to be extra careful now about overlooking details, overlooking notes, or other easy to miss details. We'll get to the drawing board here in a minute. I did see the cello that was over here in the corner. Very cool. Can't play the cello. I don't think Simon... We don't know actually what instrument, if any, Simon is capable of playing. Okay, but otherwise, ooh, there is a black rook here. Something to note. A black rook in the conservatory. All right, the main event. Floor plan conservation. In the conservatory, you will be able to permanently adjust the rarity and rates that determine how often certain floor plans are drawn. Rarity changes can be reset using the directory in this room. I see. Floor plan conservation. Today, you may adjust the rarities of the above floor plans. Let me read that one more time. Let's exit and go. So they're giving us the bedroom, walk-in closet, and mechanarium. Rarity changes. It's permanent. Yeah, exactly. I got thrown off for a second by this. Today, you may adjust the rarities of the above floor plans. But this is what I was thinking. It would not allow us to adjust the rarity of every single room in the house. It's going to give us, it looks like 3 at a time. And we can choose to make those more or less rare. Bedroom, walk-in closet, mechanarium. The mechanarium is usually unusual. I mean, we want this to be more common, don't we? I don't know if we quite want it to be commonplace, because we still want to get a bunch of other mechanical rooms before it. So having it as standard feels like a good compromise. We want to be able to buff it up before getting it, but we still want to have a good chance at getting it. They do give you I guess, a flavorful description here of the rarities. Commonplace floor plans are often classified by conservationists as the weeds of the drafting pool, or their overabundance prevents other, less common rooms from flourishing on the estate. Standard rooms are of the garden variety, not common enough to be a nuisance, and not rare enough to be elusive. Yeah, that's kind of what I was debating with when I was adjusting the rarity on the boiler room. Unusual is a term reserved for the floor plans that are encountered on occasion, the infrequency of which may contribute to their apparent prestige. And then rare floor plans, flora and floor plans, are seen so seldom and represented in so few numbers that they are considered by many to be endangered. Without serious conservation efforts, many of these rare specimens may never be seen. It feels pretty okay to me to turn down the mechanarium to standard. Go ahead and do that. And then, do we want, choose plan. Do we want to change either one of these? The walk-in closet is a nice one. I always feel pretty good about getting a walk-in closet. Is it good enough to where I would want to make it a commonplace? Because, you know, it is going to show up a lot more often, and sometimes you don't want a dead end when you're trying to get a lot of doors. But there's no doubt that the items that it gives you, gems, keys, key cards, and salt shakers, cupcakes, are all pretty much always good. I'm not sure about the walk-in closet, but what I think I am pretty sure about is the bedroom. I don't really feel like the bedroom is a great room. Like, obviously, when you can get it to synergize with the nursery, then it's great. And when it has an item, it's also really great, but that's kind of a 50-50 shot. The whole being able to save those 2 steps whenever you enter the bedroom is just a whatever effect. It's fine. I don't think it's good enough for it to keep it commonplace. I think it should at least be a standard. I don't know if I'm so over the bedroom that I would go unusual on this, but we have dug up the Baron's Baffler's clue. And so that might be all that there is really to help us in our overall puzzle. Getting further intel from the bedroom doesn't seem like, it feels like we've extracted whatever information there is from the bedroom already. Obviously, I still need to solve the Baron's Bafflers, but we just know of its existence, which is enough. I just feel like there are so many instances where I'm like, I don't really want to have a bedroom here. I don't think it's enough for me to want to make it an unusual. I'm going to just make it a standard. And then I think I will also, we did already change Mechanarium to standard. I think I will bump the walk-in closet down to commonplace. It feels like a good enough room where I want to see how that feels. Get that to show up at the same commonality of, the Geist bedroom. That feels okay to me. And then when we draft the conservatory in the future, we can just come back here to the room directory and then reset this. There it is. So we could just reset the any of those changes that we made. Okay, cool. Let's see what we get offered here above the chapel now. There is our nursery. Boom. We still have the door leading out of the hallway, and we still have all of our bedrooms in the pool. Do I immediately turn around and make the bedrooms commonplace again? Maybe I do. Because now that you have the nursery, it's like, oh, wait a second. Wait a second. Give me all the steps. Never mind. I changed my mind. Give me those steps. We're taking a nursery here. We're going to take it. There's a gem on the desk, so I'm going to have to pay the tithe, but I will pick up. Actually, did I need to do that? It's fine. It's fine. It's just the tithe. We're going to get plenty of coins. We're going to get an office at some point. It's totally fine. Do I also just pay the tithe? Because I can't change the thing from anywhere but the conservatory, right? So the bedroom is standard unless I go back to the conservatory and pay the tithe one more time. I think I do. I think I do, because getting those additional steps, I think is going to make up for the fact that we're losing the coins here. So this is just a change that I'm immediately regretting. Give me back that commonplace. Maybe at the end of the draft, we'll come back and make it standard. But reset that bedroom. I take it all back. I'm sorry, bedroom. I'm sorry. Bedroom's like, see, you shouldn't have done it. You should have turned your back on me so soon. All right. Now we draft out of the hallway. And watch us get the bedroom offered immediately. All right, let's get the key. Let's get that key. And now see what we get out of the hallway. Okay. Probably a den here. The den doesn't point us in the direction that I was hoping. I would have liked the den to point to the left and the right. But this is fine-ish. We really need some keys. As we're starting to now going to be getting into the other ranks of the house. So that's important, but I think we'll take the den over the parlor just to get the additional door. And now there's nowhere to go other than, I say there's nowhere to go but through the den, but you could always go around to the foundation. But let's go through the den and see what we get at this way in rank 3. Here, maybe we take the storeroom just to guarantee the key, and the coins are good for us. And then we have the door leading into rank 4, I should say. I think that's what we do. We want the storeroom over the closet. I'm pretty sure that 10 coins is going to be more worthwhile to us in that department. The gem is the slight downside, but there's just as much of a chance that we get a gem from the closet. And the gems could still be very good if we get our hands on a study or a freezer at some point. So storeroom is acceptable here. So having the hovel plus the nursery, now our hovel draft is online. We just need keys. I'm pretty sure is the main resource that we're looking for at this point. Keys as well as doors. Okay, I think I will settle for the bedroom here. It is pointing us in, an okay direction, and it's a bedroom, which we want over a parlor. So let's do that. Let's take it. The Geist bedroom would be, of course, not bad. It's never a bad thing to have a Geist bedroom, except it would have closed us off, and we would have been forced to go to the foundation. But this is fine in this case. Okay, courtyard. Pretty easy courtyard there to give us as many doors as possible. The other two close us off completely, so it's courtyard. We spend those 3 steps, and boom. Moving right along. There is a chest over here. There's a trunk, in addition to our 2 gems. We kind of want to get our hands on a commissary now. Would not mind having a commissary to see if we can get a sledgehammer. Let's see what rank 3 gives us. A rotunda, you say, huh? A rotunda. That's not what we want here. I don't think we need a rotunda in this spot. So it's Geist bedroom or it's parlor. We might settle for the Geist bedroom here. Just give ourselves the 2 dice, and then we have the, we hope for a T-shaped room coming out of the courtyard to get us that last room of our base. I like it. The Geist bedroom, of course, gives us more chances at doing that. It gives us those dice. It gives us those dice. All right, cool. West Wing, what you got for me? West Wing Hall. I do need keys, but I'm hoping I can get that garage in a couple rooms from now. So West Wing Hall it is, I'm pretty sure. And then we would love to get a, her ladyship's chamber. Another reason to take the guy's bedroom there, of course, is steps from the nursery. I'm not even like, I'm just so, I guess I've just taken it for granted now. We've got a hovel plus nursery, and we also had 90 steps because we started with the orchard and the sauna. So it's just like, I'm not even thinking about it because I'm like, all our cares, we have not a care in the world. They're all gone. All I want now is doors and keys. Which would maybe be a reason to take the break room. Maybe I shouldn't sneeze at the break room here. It just, we lose that last door in rank 3, or the last room in rank 3. Which could be her ladyship's chamber. I'm going to take the West Wing Hall in this case, though. I'm going to keep filling out all of my options, because I love to do it. Yeah, here's one of those only notes that we've ever had in a hallway. Kind of thinking we're never going to find the other torn half of this. I thought at first it was totally going to be like missed. But now it's feeling like one of these notes that just, all they want to tell you is the important part is here at the top half of the page. You don't need to know the rest of the story. All right. Her ladyship's chamber? Not in this case. We will take a closet to get us, hopefully, more keys. The pantry would be okay because it does have a piece of fruit. But, and the 4 coins. But I like the closet here. I think just the chance at getting keys or, who knows, a shovel or a sledgehammer. Let's take the closet. I could also redraw, but I don't think this is worth a redraw just to try to go for her ladyship's chamber, which is a rare. But that is an interesting note that we can only get her ladyship's chamber when it's a south-facing. It's not just on the west wing. It's you have to be going to the south. So that almost makes me wonder, like, do you want your draft? Do you want to like do this like counterclockwise thing where you go around, you start here kind of in the west wing like we did with the library, the bookshop, and then you try, if we hadn't gotten a nursery, if we hadn't taken the nursery, maybe we could have just kept going up the east wing and then come back down the west wing. Let's take the closet though. Not going to spend one of my dice here, I don't think, on that. It's not worth. That's a sleeping mask. Okay. So we get a gem, which we're not thrilled about, but we're hoping that the game is going to, prioritize a study. Once we start to stockpile these gems, I'm part of me thinks that the game logic, Sleeping Mask is good though, because that is worth gems. And now do we even go back to the bedroom and the Geist bedroom just to get the steps from the Sleeping Mask? We could wait till later, right? Because we're going to want to, I don't know. Do we wait till later? Why don't we draft the West Wing Hall first and see what we get through the West Wing Hall? That may change our decision. We're going to have to use a key, but otherwise we don't have a door unless we go around to the foundation. Is it possible? I think we have seen now that some doors could be unlocked. Even like I'm just thinking that left door in the foundation. This would cost us a fair amount of steps, but would it ever be correct for us to go out of the entrance hall, down around to bring the elevator up through the foundation and draft out through those 3 doors while we have the 3 keys? And maybe even we get lucky and the door from the foundation going to the left is not locked? Or am I really overthinking things? Because what that would let us do is we could step in the Geist bedroom and the bedroom and get the proc from the Sleeping Mask. And then it would really only be, a few extra steps, like 3 or 4 extra steps to go down and outside of the house to make it to the foundation. I don't think it's ridiculous. Because the thing is, like, it's not clear to me that you can call the elevator when you're actually in the foundation room in the house. There's no way to get the elevator to come up. But if you have a key card, you can call the elevator down. So leaving the elevator by default in the house is probably the better way to go. I probably made a mistake at the end, a slight min-maxing mistake at the end of day 23. Sorry, day 22. Let's get the steps from the Geist bedroom. And we get the steps from the bedroom. And now I think we just go around because it might save us a key. And I am very interested in saving keys. It also, drafting from the foundation to the west wing would give us a garage. No, that's not going to make a difference. That's not going to make a difference. We'll go this way. I like this idea. We do have a conference room that's in a bit of well, maybe it's a tough spot, but if we can ride the foundation, if we can use the foundation to get back to, I don't know, I'm overthinking as I always do. I'm overthinking the various paths that I want to take later on in a draft through the house or outside the house when those paths might not even be needed. Don't think about those decisions until you need to. And who knows, this might even be an attempt at over optimization that's not really the best. But either way, it's fun to do something different. If nothing else, this feels like we're doing something cool and kind of subversive by going and riding this elevator that's not supposed to exist. Oh, wait a second. Okay, well, I think I'm okay because I do have a key card. But this is an interesting detail that while the foundation does not reset every day, it looks like the elevator actually does. Which is good, if that's the case. I was going to be a little bit disappointed if that elevator didn't actually come down, but this is working now. So, I mean, I could have sworn that we left the elevator down here on day 22, correct? So, the fine print on the foundation that does not reset every day doesn't apply to everything. Now, notably, none of these are security doors, so we may have to end up using all three of our keys here. We'll see how this plays out. Let's just see if this door to the west, it is also locked. Do I want to go there first because it could get me a garage, or do I just draft the one that's not locked? Just see what's not locked. There's security. Perfect. I was hoping we'd get security here because we want to actually go ahead and turn up that security level to maximum. And we want to either do the laboratory or maybe we want to do the office. Because the laboratory is common and we might get offered the laboratory because it has the duct system. We might just get that offered naturally through security. We can make that decision after we've drafted through security, right? So let's take security. Now, I do want, before I draft any other rooms, I do want to make those changes on the security terminal. This is perfect. This is great luck that we've gotten 2 security doors through security. This is awesome. Let's just go ahead and turn up the security level now before we do anything else to make sure that that we just don't run into any obstacles as we draft. A key card and 3 keys is going to make things really, really nice when we have our security level set to high. Boom. The offline mode, I don't think matters. So just don't even worry about that one. We will look at the estate inventory. We've got the 1 trunk in the courtyard. And now part of me does, I forgot about that. We'll see about that. I might... We'll see if we can make it back there to the courtyard at some point. The other thing I want to do is I do want to, before I forget, just go ahead and do a special order or magnifying glass. Keep putting in that magnifying glass special order to make sure that we get as many opportunities to look at things and maybe even make a contraption. We're not going to do the remote terminal access just yet, although we have email to check here, don't we? That was one thing that I didn't get a chance to do because my brain was dead. We have security email now that's been enabled. Okay, let's try to go through these real quick. We have several from Ann Babbage that are from and to Ann Babbage, but we also have Kirk Darren. I think this might be another name for us to try in the grotto. Let me just... I've already added that to my list because I thought of that as I was mulling over who else might be an admin key. But there's also the note in the locker room that says Kirk Darren is a pseudonym. So who knows exactly whether that will... Maybe if we can find the real name for Kirk Darren, that would be an admin key. Let's just read for now. Ann Babbage, subject another request dated November 5th, 1986. Mr. Darren. So she was conversing with Mr. Darren. And he was responsible for helping set up the security system, right? So it'd make total sense if he had an admin key somehow. Oh, wait a second. If you have any more of those red and blue memo sheets, the Baron has requested a handful of each for a new project he's working on in the clock tower. For my part, I can't understand for the life of me why you and the Baron continually insist on confounding my staff and every other person who stumbles upon one of your colored memos. I'm not confident confusion is the best security, but it's not my department, so I'll leave that up to you and the Baron. The red and blue memos were done by the Baron and Mr. Darren. Oh, unintentional rhyme. And they're doing it as part of the security system? Let's see what the reply to this is. Presumably, the reply would be from... Well, this is a different subject, though. She didn't ever get a reply to this subject about another request. Huh. So this email is to Ann Babbage about security measures. Mrs. Babbage, January 24th, 1987. I'd like to address one potential security vulnerability of having an antechamber lever in the weight room. As the years have gone by, the Baron's frequency of working out in this room has gone from once in a red moon to as rare as a man without self-pity. Oh no, the Baron too busy to get in those crucial workouts. As such, we find this room mostly relegated to guest use, and given that, an antechamber lever is not only unsuited, but also poses a security risk. I advise we either remove or conceal it and install a secondary lever to control the south entrance. And so they did. That antechamber lever has been of such great use to us. The best antechamber lever in the place. But if you didn't know about it, this email would be another way. They give you so many avenues to discover the secrets of the mansion. Ann Babbage replies, Mr. Darren, sorry for the lag in reply. I guess this is February 4th, and it was January 24th. Yeah, okay, a few days, a couple weeks before the reply. I'm still learning how to use this machine. Thanks for bringing this issue to our attention. This was not something I'd considered, but it does seem like a reasonable suggestion, and I'll discuss it with the Baron during our next meeting. I know he has expressed interest in installing secondary access levers for both redundancy and convenience, so this may be the perfect excuse to allow him to execute those plans, should he still wish to do so. Okay, and then the last one here, to Kirk Darren, stop recording. February 10th. Kirk, per our last meeting, effective immediately, please suspend all security camera recordings. Live surveillance has been approved, but the Baron no longer wishes to have tape logs of activity on the estate. I know this might seem like a security risk, but I promise good reasoning is behind this seemingly unsound decision. Oh, this is actually from Randolph Moore. So I guess, yeah, this makes sense because the person who would have been stationed here in security would be Kirk Darren. If he's like the chief security officer, then this would be his mailbox, right? So he's getting an email from Ann Babbage. He's writing back to her. Yeah, that makes sense. That's got to relate somehow. There has to be a... let's just make sure data transfers are still... That's not a thing yet. Maybe will be at some point. There might be some new glossary of terms to check. I'm not going to do that now, though. Maybe we will come back to those. But there's got to be something... This camera that is showing us this section of the archives, which I think is actually showing us the file cabinet that has our mom's birth certificate. The fact that the safe house had this note that wanted to delete it, it sounds like they wanted to delete the recording of this part of the archives, which maybe shows, I don't know, does it show them planting a fake birth certificate? If they had constructed these fake passports for our mom, could they have done the same thing when it comes to her birth certificate to somehow, I don't know, throw off the Red Guard? There's something going on there. I don't know where we would get access to security cameras, but they're, you know, the presence of these VHS tapes suggests that maybe somewhere we would be able to view them. Okay, we've raised the security level though, so now I think, we continue to draft out of security to see if we can get a laboratory. That's what I would like. I would like a laboratory so that we can get, because I want to use our grotto to spread gold. That's what I want. If we can't get our hands directly on an office, then I want to be able to use one of these terminals to spread gold to the conference room, and that would get us a whole bunch of gold to buy stuff at the bookshop, presumably at the end of our day. So if we can get a laboratory organically, we don't have to spend the grotto and its offline access on that. So why don't we go to... Let's go through this security door first and see if we can get that to be a laboratory, since it is a common. It is a common. Or it does show up. It just doesn't go in the direction that I wanted. I was hoping it would point northward. Now, at the same time, there is a coat check here giving us a gear wrench. Do I want to pick that up? Because we want to have a gear wrench if we do get so fortunate as to get offered a workshop. That's what we were aiming so many times for on day 22. And this might be our only shot at a coat check. Unless we spend a redraw here, we're basically drafting a dead end here, which is maybe fine. That might be totally fine, because we still have the two doors from the security and foundation going out to the house. The patio would spread its gems to the conference room, but we have a hovel, so gems are not a priority. So I think it's either coat check or laboratory here. I don't think it's worth spending a redraw. The laboratory is a common, and there's a good chance that we're going to get it offered through the other door, through security, or connected in some way. If we continue the duct system going out through security, the laboratory is going to show up at some point, in all likelihood. So I think we take the coat check here because, man, if a workshop does show up, I don't want to miss my chance. The coat check is in a bit of an... Well, no, it's not really in an awkward place. It's actually right next to the foundation. So this is a fine place to have a coat check. So let's take it. We get that one shot at the coat check once per draft, pretty much. So let's take that while we have it. And now I think we just draft through security. And if we can get a laboratory there, now we get our experiments online before we do any other rooms. Oh, they give us the pool. They also give us the cloister. The cloister. We have not seen this, the cloister of Lydia. It's been a little while. And we've only gotten to do the shop thing once, adding to our allowance. And this would be a perfect time for us to get like a commissary and a kitchen. We could also get the pool, which would give us the locker room. And a locker room with a conference room is pretty sweet. We would have to draft the locker room, though. But of course, if we want the best shot at getting a laboratory, then we would have to take the archives to keep the duct system going. I don't want to take the cloister. We're at kind of a halfway point in our draft here. It's a little late to be starting experiments. I think we just don't worry about the laboratory this time, and we just use the security terminal to spread gold once we've filled up the house as much as we can. So in that case, I don't need to do the archives in order to try to get another chance at a laboratory. And the pool, it does have swim trunks, but without, I don't know. I want to do the cloister. I want to see if we can add to our allowance. We haven't got to do that, except the one time. So I want to do that cloister. I want to try it, man. It costs us 9 steps, which is not insignificant. But there's another security door through there, which is great. We're going to, before we move forward, we are going to go back and see if we can pick up a garage. A garage from this direction. I would like to get before we move out into the rest of the house. Oh my god, they gave us an office. I don't take the office directly. The only reason to take the office directly would be to try to work on the puzzle to figure out the code for the safe. that would be the reason. Oh, well, no, never mind. I was thinking, oh, it also connects us to the West Wing Hall. But that actually doesn't matter because all of these connect us to the West Wing Hall. So I feel like this is just a dining room. I don't think I have enough information yet. Like, maybe I was on the right track with the March of the Count. The fact that it's Count. The busts in the room do seem to be the most prominent feature. And maybe it's just as simple as... Like, I don't remember what I did last time. And I tried a couple different things. And one of them might be, like, the idea that I'm having right now, which is to try to count the number of Isaac Gates busts. And then put that in as alongside March. Use the month of March, 03, and then however many busts there are, which is, I think, 4 or 5 of the Count Gates. The wordplay in this game is starting to screw with my head, and I'm getting a little bit like, what am I even talking about sometimes? I don't think in this case, like, obviously this would let us do laboratory experiments if we wanted to, and the laboratory experiments could get us a whole lot more steps or a lot more gold on top of the gold that we've got here, and then we could just buy everything in the bookshop. Who knows? In this case, though, I'm going to do what I said, though, because the office does cost us steps, and I would rather get the dining room here, I think, because we want as many steps as we can get still because we have the hovel. And we want to be able to run around back to the conference room and do the bookshop business at the end of our draft. So let's stick to that plan. And do we get the lunchbox now? I don't feel like we need to get it right this second because we do have quite a few steps. We just want to pick everything up at one point when we actually get to rank 8, correct? Now, at the same time, I completely forgot about the fact that we have Blessing of the Tinkerer. I forgot about that. I forgot about our blessing here. We could still do the laboratory at security, but then we have to draft more mechanical rooms. I forgot about that. Okay, it is what it is. We move on. We maybe should have drafted the the office so that we could do the laboratory experiment, but that's okay. We're gonna come back to the dining room when we do reach rank 8 and just pick up all of our steps at once. For now, we will continue through the cloister. And we will take a look and see. We've just got the one security door leading to the east. Let's see if this door to the south is open. It is open. We do not get a shop, unless we want to re-roll. But we do see a walk-in closet versus the observatory. Ooh. Now, the observatory is really interesting because I think it has the sail. Ooh, I think we have to take the observatory here because... especially if we get more shops, but even the way that it is right now, if we make everything half off, we could probably buy all of the books that are remaining in the bookshop. I think that's what we do. We just take the observatory and we activate the sail. That seems like a good plan, right? Not to mention the fact that it keeps our draft going in this direction. Now, the dormitory is worth considering because we do have the hovel. The idea of buying everything out in the bookshop, no matter what, though, is so tantalizing. And I think we make that happen when we spread gold from security. We should have enough to buy everything in the bookshop, and maybe even additional stuff here if we get some shops connected to the cloister, some other stuff like the kitchen and whatnot. So let's take the observatory. Let's take it. We're not going to go in just yet. Let's continue drafting. Let's do the security door here next. See if we can get ourselves a shop. No shop, man. Dude, these all suck. I think this is where I use a redraw. The maid's chamber does get us steps at the same time. And it's a new week. So we would get to run payroll as well and get more gold. Maybe this is just a maid's chamber. I want to get shops. I do want to get allowance. But a maid's chamber, we're really making it a super strong likelihood that we're going to be able to buy everything in the bookshop. I think, yeah, we just take the maid's chamber because of being able to do payroll. We guarantee that payroll gets run at least once this week, and we get our value out of it that way. We'll nerf items laying around the house, but that's fine. We don't have a trading post or anything to worry about. So maid's chamber there. And we get our steps as well from it being a bedroom, which is great. We'll see if there's an item in there, but first I do want to see if we're able to draft this room. We do, but no shop, unless we want to reroll. I think we have to take a music room here. I think we need the keys. Would love to get our hands on a secret garden, although, you know, we still have 60 steps. We still have 60 steps, and we're really not close to running out of steps, are we? Because we have a freaking nursery, and we started the day with 90 steps, so duh. So I don't think we need to take a spare bedroom here. It would get us to rank 8, and would get us even more steps from a dining room. Holy shit. This is a pretty easy music room, right? You just take... Man, the way this draft is feeling, you have so many... If you get this sort of... This is what I was hoping would happen on day 7 or whatever. Hovel plus nursery. Jesus Christ. We haven't gotten our hands on a magnifying glass yet, though. That is one annoying part here, because I think the music room is one place that I want to re-examine with the magnifying glass. I also wouldn't mind getting back to the drawing room and taking another stab at these various, you know, trying to figure out the safe code. But I'm not going to pass it up. I'm not going to pass up a music room here. We take it. And then, how do we order things? We take the music room. Can I see what the key is? The special key. The chair's in the way, man. Why is the chair in the frickin' way? Okay, let me figure out what I'm gonna do next here. Okay, I am gonna get the keys. It's important for us to know what keys we do have here, and we do get a secret garden key. We get the secret garden key as... This draft is coming together in a lot of ways. All right, major and minor key acquired. This is the note. I wanted to take a closer look at this with the magnifying glass, just in case there was anything hidden in the treble clef. We'll see if we get a chance to do that. No chance that there's any other note here somewhere laying around that I've missed, is there? Nothing hiding behind the piano. I think we've gleaned all the relevant information now in the music room. So now we will head to the observatory, and we'll draft from there, I think. Yeah, let's try to get to the east wing, and we activate our sail. Pretty sure that's what we're getting today, right? This is definitely a day that I want it, right? Like there is... Well, no, you would have to take it no matter... I was thinking for a second, like, oh, I would save it for another day in the observatory, but no, you always get the star whenever you enter the observatory. That always happens. Uh-oh. Everything is 50% off today. See flyer for details. Oh, no. Oh, no. This is not going to work the way that I want it, is it? Hold on a second here. Yes, it does work. Okay. I thought for a second the bookshop was not going to count. It does. It does. Commissary, kitchen, locksmith, and bookshop. Bookshop. Offer valid at the following locations. Let's go. Great deals ahoy. Today only. Even if we only... The bookshop is really all we care about, because there's still so much to buy. So it doesn't count stuff like the showroom or the casino. Those things do not get included there. Okay, that's fine. That is totally fine. What do we get out of the observatory? We do get both a kitchen and a commissary. Okay. Okay. Which one's better? Which one is better? At this point, we're at 51 steps. I think we just take the kitchen and we make sure that we never worry about steps for the rest of the day. Everything's half off at the kitchen. I mean, a half off kitchen is crazy, right? You can buy everything for what? 13 gold at most. And now we know that there's a chef salad as well as tomato soup. Those cost 5. They get halved, which is really not halved. It goes down to 3. Either way, it's so cheap to buy everything in the kitchen. Holy crap. Now, at the same time, the commissary has a magnifying glass. I just remembered that. Maybe we're supposed to take the commissary. Because we're still pretty healthy on steps, and we have a dining room on the way. So maybe the kitchen isn't as important. If only we could have gotten one of these offered a little bit sooner. Why could we not connect these to the cloister? God damn it. They also both happen to be pointed in the right direction, which is kind of convenient. I guess we take the commissary. Just because of the magnifying glass, right? And there could be other stuff at the commissary that we want as well. So, including a key, which would be half off and it would cost 5. So, we'll take the commissary. I'm hoping I don't regret this. We still have another chance to get a kitchen later as well. There's a shovel. And we do have quite a few dig spots. So, a shovel is good for us. And we want to keep drafting in this direction. Otherwise, the gem's not a priority. So magnifying glass and shovel, though, for 5? That's just crazy. We take it! Let's go. We could probably still, once we get to spread the gold from the office, terminal via grotto offline access, we're going to be, we're still going to be sitting pretty. This is great. Just need to be a little bit mindful of steps, just a little bit. But if we do get a kitchen, that if we lock down a kitchen, then, or a spare bedroom, like you could just take a spare bedroom here, even though it dead ends, but you just get more steps. And like, I don't think a passageway is actually worth it here. This passageway doesn't do enough for us. Considering what I want to do with the rest of this draft, I just want to make sure basically that we buy everything in the bookshop. So I want to get more rooms in the house, so I can spread more gold to the conference room, but I also need enough steps to be able to navigate back when I'm done adding those rooms, and I don't think the passageway is the most efficient way for us to do that. The pool, we still don't have a sledgehammer to open up the trunks in the pool, and I don't think I want to spend 2 of my keys. We do have the secret garden. The secret garden is interesting because we can only draft it on the wings, and if we don't draft the passageway, it does get a little bit trickier. We'd have to depend on the maid's chamber and the music room to get us to one of the wings. I do have the option to reroll. We could just try to get an elbow or other room that does point us to the east wing here that doesn't cost us 6 steps. But also, I still might end up with a surplus of steps here that I don't need. Even if I take the passageway, we're still at 40 steps, 40-ish steps, and that does get us to the wing more quickly, where we're much more likely to be able to use our secret garden key. And as soon as we use that, there's a whole shitload of fruit sitting back in the conference room. None of these feel right, though. It just doesn't feel right to spend 6 steps on a passageway. Like, maybe I'll still end up with a surplus of steps, but I'm going to use a die here. This could be wrong. I just feel like I'm not going to settle. When I've got 2 dice, use one of them and do better. We can do better than this. Okay, I guess we'll settle for a parlor. The parlor is okay. Like, it does get us 1 game closer. If presuming we can actually win, we do get 1 step closer to that 40 parlor game achievement. So, and I think I do keep drafting this way. Let's keep going in this direction, because there's less likelihood that we run into locked doors. Okay, logic game time. The gems are in a box with a statement containing the letter B. All right. Well, this statement contains the letter B. And I think, wouldn't that count itself as well? Because how does this work? It counts the box. Obviously, there's B in box, but there's the letter B itself. So anyway, we don't know if that's true or false, regardless. The blue box is true. Well, we don't know if that's true or false. The gems are in a box with a statement containing the letter U. Okay. This statement contains the letter U, doesn't it? But this also contains the letter U because of true and blue. And then this one does not contain the letter U. Does this one contain the letter B? Yes. So B is in all of them. So this is actually a true statement, isn't it? Because the gems have to be in one of the boxes, and that means they're going to be in a box that has a statement containing the letter B. So this is true. So we've satisfied our true condition. Now what about, well, that means that the blue box is true. That statement is also true, which means that this statement has to be false. The gems are in a box with a statement containing the letter U. This has to be false. And so that means it has to be in this one, right? Because these both contain statements that have the letter U. This one is in quotations, but that should count, right? So if this statement is false, that means that neither one of these boxes, it has to be the blue box, doesn't it? And there's less pressure to get this right today because I'm not actually counting on gems to open doors for me. So we get it right anyways because logic rules the day once again. Okay, good. Sound logic for the win. Let's continue drafting. Boudoir. Boudoir is perfect. It keeps us going up the west wing. It gets us some steps back, and it gets us a gem, although that's not as important on a day like today. So I think we take that over the casino because the casino doesn't count for the sale. We're spending our gold in other places. So an easy boudoir here. Oh, I forgot. We also have the sleeping mask. There's double reason. The only place we haven't gotten sleeping mask value is, well, we haven't stepped in the maid's chamber yet. We'll get the sleeping mask value once we do that. We also haven't stepped in the nursery since getting the sleeping mask. That may come into play, but I don't necessarily... We'll see if I want to spend the tithe or not to do that. But we'll continue the boudoir for now. Because now we have... Okay, I kind of figured it would work like the safe. Once you open the safes, whether it's the... this one or the time lock safe in the shelter, they're open permanently. And now you have access to that gem whenever you get here. So the boudoir should have, similar to the den, a +1. It would be cool if it had like a +1 red gem icon on it. Let's keep going up the east wing. Do we take a spare bedroom here to get even more steps? Or do we try to get our hands on a sledgehammer or metal detector from the veranda? I like that idea, but also, we could take a secret passage and try to get a bedroom. Try to get another shot at a master bedroom through a secret passage. Because if we take the secret passage and we take a bedroom, we've already taken the nurse. Nope, but this can duplicate, right? I forgot that the secret passage can give us duplicates. So I was thinking we were going to have a narrowed down pool because we have taken so many bedrooms already, but I don't think it works that way. Now, a servant's quarters wouldn't be terrible. A servant's quarters would mean that we're definitely opening every other room in the house. But I wouldn't be thrilled to have it because we were just there, and it wouldn't be getting us any new intelligence, and we wouldn't be keeping our draft going up the east wing to try to get more shots at a master bedroom, but we still have the maid's chamber to get us there. I did forget the fact that the casino has 15 coins in it. I always forget about that. But I don't think that's I don't think that's that big of a mistake because between the spreading office gold and spreading payroll, those should get us enough gold to be able to afford, if not everything in the bookshop, it's going to be close to everything. It's definitely going to let us get the most expensive options, which are the priorities. I think we take the secret passage and we go for a bedroom. We try to get as many shots. Even if there's duplicates that are in the pool, I feel like this has still got to be a better shot than just having every single room in the pool and trying to get the master bedroom out of that, even though we're on the east wing. Let's go for it. Let's try to get that master bedroom when we have a magnifying glass, which is, it's going to be pretty much every day now that we're going to have a magnifying glass until I finally don't need it anymore. But let's give it another shot. Use our special key. This is where we go for a bedroom and then we use our secret garden key. That would be smart. Dang it. Okay. I think we actually just take the spare bedroom here. I don't know. The servant's quarters is really good. The servant's quarters is awesome because it's 6 keys. But we still have a security key card. That's the thing, right? Between the key card and 2 regular keys and a secret garden key, we're still at a strong chance to open a lot of doors still. So is it better to take a servant's quarters and get all those keys, or just get a spare bedroom and we can just keep drafting up the east wing? Or do we use a reroll? Is this where you use your other die because you're in this circumstance and you want to get a chance at a master bedroom? Maybe that's actually the smart play. We've got that narrower pool of options to draw from. Why don't we take the shot? Redraw in this circumstance, right? I feel like this many keys is overkill. I think we can get by, and even if we don't fill out the rest of the house, right? Like, it's okay if we don't actually do every single thing that we want to do. We've done the 45 room thing. Let's try to get the master bedroom. Let's use the die. This is the spot to use it. What? Excuse me? What? What? Hello. Can I please have that? Can I please have that back? It actually just gave me the exact what? How is that possible? How does this happen? Are you freaking kidding me? Bro. Okay. All right, fine. I'll take a servant's quarters if you're forcing it on me, but it actually gave me the exact same 3 options in the same exact order. What the fuck? That's got to be the worst die roll ever, right? Complete, just that's got me a little bit on tilt. I will take the keys here over the spare bedroom. I'm gonna we'll take the keys. It's fine. It's fine. We're gonna go back around to them. We've got steps. We're gonna have plenty of steps here. What the junk? What the actual junk, man? Did we look at this already with a magnifying glass? We did, right? We were just here yesterday. Let's take all our freaking keys. Give me these goddamn more keys than I know what to do with. How many keys? What the fuck? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have the hovel as well. 7 keys. Way more than I need. But okay, it's fine. We also have more. I also have more steps than I'm gonna need because we still have a dining room. This is crazy how when you get this online, hovel plus nursery just, you can do anything you want. This is definitely turning into the hovel redemption run. We finally got there, folks. I might be a little miffed about my stupid die not getting me a master bedroom, but this draft has felt so clean in how you just, I mean, the things that are happening that we want to happen. We're getting the bedrooms, and then we're getting to get value out of all of those steps. Okay, let's see what we get out of the main. We just have infinite keys now, so there's no reason to not open any door that we have and just give us as many doors as possible. Even if that means taking a dark room, fuck me. I think I'll take the dark room here, and then we'll go back to the music room, and we'll hope to get like a utility closet to actually turn the lights back on. I think that's what we do, as opposed to just taking the walk-in closet. I want to keep a door that goes to the east wing, and I don't have a die now to redo things here, so I gotta settle for a dark room, and I will go ahead and proc. I'm not totally sure how this works, but I think you have to get the lights. Oh, it is nice that there's a security door here, so that's one thing that is working in our favor, but I would hope not to draft that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I want, if I can get a utility closet first, I'd like to have that. So let's not draft there just yet. Oh, I forgot about the cloister and the dig sites. I forgot about the dig sites in the cloister. Give me those dig sites, please. Because who knows, I'll get even more coins and more. We want coins, really, is what we want. I don't think we need turnips. So coins is good there. Now we draft through the music room. Not really much else to do just yet. No, we're not using our special key here because we're not on the wing. So regular key. And we have infinite keys, so... Oh my god, that's a vault. And it's an office. What is going on here, guys? I don't think... Okay, let's think about this. How much gold do we actually spread from the office? That's what I don't know for sure. We probably need to figure out when we do that, when we actually do spread the gold here. We'll try to make a note how much gold gets spread. It's so funny that they're giving us both the vault and the office again here. I think I just take the pantry because I want to keep drafting. But also taking the vault, we definitely... I may not be able to spend all my gold. That's the thing. If the problem is if I take the vault, I might have more gold to use than I... Like, I would want a freezer then to be able to spend the rest of the gold. I want to get max value here. Or I take the office because I do have so many steps as well. I take the office and then I don't worry about getting value out of the grotto. Or maybe even I just take the office and try to proc... maybe that's the play here, is take the office and actually just start a lab experiment. Even though we've only got a few doors left, who knows, we might get some additional value out of it. Maybe it gives us some more letters. There might still be letters that we want to send to the mailroom. The vault would definitely guarantee that we would be able to buy everything in the bookshop when we have the sale. But I think we're going to come close to that already, being able to trigger the office from security. And I want to keep the draft going. I don't want to have just the one darkroom door left where I'm counting on figuring out what the darkroom door is through a security card. Rarity information, at least I would get that, but I want to keep the draft going in this direction. And I don't want to take the office either when we already have access to its terminal through security. I don't feel like I'm in a spot to solve the safe puzzle yet in the office. So let's just take the pantry because it gets us more coins anyways, and it gets us more steps. I like this one. Let's keep going. Or at least I thought it would get us more steps. Hello? Hello? This has happened once before, hasn't it? We've had a spot where there was no fruit in the pantry. Why does that happen? Why is that not just a guaranteed thing? Hello? Okay, fine. What do we got? What do we got through the pantry door? Oh, it's a workshop! That's the other reason to keep drafting. Because a workshop can show up. Yes, slam dunk workshop, and this is now a frickin' common. Let's fucking go. Boom! Oh my god, what an amazing... Yes! Yes, 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 yes! Oh, I'm definitely making this a common, right? There's no reason to not make this a common. This is a common. Easiest common of my life. And now... now we might not need to coat check a gear wrench. We'll see. We'll see how that plays out. We're definitely, though, going to take a step into... Dude! We even get a coin purse from this flippin' thing. I didn't know... Have we gotten a coin purse before in the workshop? Okay. Can we actually make anything with what we've got? Probably not. But let's find out. Magnifying glass. Is this the first time we've had the magnifying glass in the workshop? Cannot be combined with a shovel, or the coin purse, or the key card, or the sleeping mask. Okay. So the magnifying glass has one contraption that can be made. I actually have not cataloged the screenshots. What have I done? Did I take the screenshots from the drafting strategy book? I don't know if I did. I don't think I've cataloged that information that we got yet on contraptions, so I don't remember for sure what the deal is with, well, what type of contraptions can be made with what. But I definitely know we didn't have, like, the key card and the sleeping mask that were on that list. It just was the coin purse on that list is the one thing I'm wondering. I feel like that doesn't make much sense. Most of these do not make any sense that they would be contraption material. And it looks like that's the case. So, okay, we're not using the workshop necessarily, but now it's a commonplace. Oh, that makes me so happy. And now the mechanarium is standard. So getting to open all of the doors in the mechanarium does not feel nearly as far-fetched as it once did. Okay, cool. Let's keep on drafting here and see. This draft has now officially been a success pretty much no matter what else we do. Now let's just see what other icing. We just need to make sure. We definitely don't need a locksmith. Definitely don't need that shit. We'll take an aquarium here because it keeps our draft going and it gets us steps and it has a dig site probably. So the aquarium is for sure the pick. I don't think it's ever a bunk room. We don't want to close things off here, and we don't need to go back to the bunk room to examine anything with the magnifying glass, I don't think. We're definitely taking the aquarium because I want to keep the draft going still. So let's do that. We're going to end up with so many freaking steps. So I definitely, hopefully, the game takes that into account and says, you know, you don't need any turnips. Let me just give you as many coins as possible from these dig sites. Okay, I still don't think I could use this. It would not let me use the special key here for the secret garden because it's in the corner, right? This wouldn't fit because the other doorway, it doesn't work like this, does it? Yeah. So we have to use a regular key, which is fine because we have infinite keys. Okay. Lost and Found is interesting. It's the only room that lets us keep going if we want. Otherwise, we could just take a clock tower and we would have 2 tomorrow rooms. I think is what we've got so far. But we don't really, you know, I don't really care about the gear wrench anymore. I don't really care. Like, at some point, we might want to make our mechanical rooms less common. Once we've actually opened all the doors in the mechanarium. Maybe. But who knows what's behind those doors? Maybe we just want to always be able to open as many doors as possible if it gives us like gems or something. This game is the best. There's so many fun decisions to be made. If I lose a sleeping mask at this point, I'm fine. If I lose a gear wrench, I'm fine. If I lose a secret garden key, honestly, I'm fine. We've got so many steps still. We really don't need to spread fruit. I don't want to lose a magnifying glass. But I would probably also be fine with that. I'm actually probably fine losing any particular item. And the other thing is we don't have to go into Lost and Found. We can look on the tables and see what the items are, if we want those items or not. But if we were going to keep drafting through Lost and Found, then we would likely end up losing 2 items, which may not be ideal. We know that Lost and Found has given us, what, the gear wrench, as well as the telescope has showed up twice. What else did it give us last time? We drafted Lost and Found, but we never went in because we saw the telescope, and what else was on the table? I'm going to actually check my footage real quick and remind myself. Oh, it was a hall pass. That's also not super thrilling. So these rare items so far in Lost and Found, we had the initial upgrade disc and allowance token, which was amazing. But otherwise, the telescope could be very interesting if we knew that it would stack. Because if we got an additional sale, if it stacks, that's 75% off. But also that's probably overkill as well because we're gonna come pretty gosh darn close to affording everything already in the bookshop. I think we just settle for a clock tower here. It's kind of boring, but we can go in, we can examine what we can with the magnifying glass. Maybe we get a stopwatch, which I don't know if I would even take it because there's only 1 door left for us to draft and I kind of don't want to rush it because we don't have a utility closet to help us. But we would at least get those 2 keys to start tomorrow, and maybe if we're lucky, we get a 3rd because the dark room gets us a tomorrow room. Yeah, I think for all of those reasons, I am going to settle for the clock tower. And if our draft happens to end because we don't get a room that has other doors going through the dark room, then so be it. We've gotten what we can out of this draft, and yeah, we will live with that. Because, man, look, our steps are at 61. This hovel plus nursery, is this how it normally goes? Like, do you just always end up with overkill on the steps? This is nuts. And at least it feels that way. Oh my gosh, there's coins up here as well? What the heck? Okay. So you can get extra items in the clock tower there's a reasonable chance you're going to get extra items up here, and sometimes it's just gold. That's great. Does this note make any more sense at this point? We know it's got the Arindia Ares core symbol on it. We know what that symbol is now. Southward, I see a swan, ashen like sands of the shore, carried by westerly winds, rogue like the moon of the north. Eastward, I see a crow, dark are the days coming forth. This feels like it is still part of some puzzle that we actually haven't either seen or solved yet. I don't quite know what this is supposed to be, but obviously don't tell me. Don't tell me yet. And we've got this broken bit of pottery here that's probably important for another sigil. So much stuff still to figure out. Okay, let's see. I think there's nothing else to be done except to try to draft that last room in the dark room. We still haven't even gone to the dining room. Like, now I almost wish I would have taken the office instead of the dining room, because we're just not going to need this many steps unless we get really lucky with the dark room. Maybe we'll end up needing it here in a moment when things turn... Well, when things... We'll see how things end up. Let's just see if we can figure this out. So we have one room that is a rare that's free. That could be a freezer, that could be a furnace, right? There's a good chance I think that it's a furnace because that's the more likely one to appear from the dark room because of the duct system. And then you have a common that's a gem, and you have a rare that's a gem. So let me look at my notes to see if I can figure out what this is here. I mean, the one in the middle has to be the kitchen, doesn't it? So we could take the kitchen and hope that it points northward. That would be one game plan. We wouldn't necessarily even buy anything in the kitchen because we just don't need the steps, but we just want to draft more doors. Oh, and the laundry room is the one over here, isn't it? So the laundry room is here because that's the only rare room that actually costs just 1 gem. There's the locker room, but that's not in the pool because we don't have the pool. Now, I'm pretty sure the master bedroom costs 2 gems, correct? Yeah, master bedroom costs 2 gems, so it's just not here. So this one here, the rare, it's got to be the furnace, doesn't it? I suppose there's a chance it's a freezer, and neither one of those do what we want, which is get us try to get us northward. We take the middle one here because it's the kitchen, and like we don't want to freeze our stuff anyways. We would want to freeze our gems, but we don't want to freeze our coins. Like, that is one thing to think about. I mean, a freezer is a rare room, so it's unlikely to show up. So you probably shouldn't contort or bend over backwards to try to just make your decisions based around the freezer. But I'm just thinking, like, is there ever a world where, you know, oh, now I'm at a point where I'd like to go and spread the gold and try to go back to the bookshop and buy everything that's there. And then come back and draft the rest of the rooms to try to get a freezer and freeze only my gems. In either case, we're already at this point, and we might as well just take the kitchen, see where it points. Oh, it's not a kitchen. Oh, it's a drawing room. Oh, I completely forgot about the drawing room. Well, that's actually really good. How do I not have the drawing room as a gem room on my list? That's a mistake. So, a little mistake on my little spreadsheet here that has my common rooms, and I didn't note the fact that the drawing room has a gem cost, but that's perfect for us because that lets us keep drafting. Okay, great. It also allows me another opportunity here, if I want, to try and think about what this safe code could be. And I think I am going to take a little bit of that. I'm risking draining my brain power here deeper into a draft, but let's just see if fresh brain OP. What I had done before, I was looking at the stride, the length of the stride, which I think if these paintings or drawings are part of a puzzle, then that has to be involved somehow. But what I don't think I was taking into account was these drawings that have 3. I think they're meant to be counted as their own category. And you're supposed to actually, the thought that I had off camera was that you're supposed to factor in how long is the distance if you just multiply by 3. Just add all these together and see how those compare. So my only question then is, how long is the guy with the top hat? If you put all of these together, how does that compare to a horse stride? Which one is actually longer? Because it's a little bit difficult to tell. Like that's where I wonder if I'm on the right track. If I am adding, like, even the old man's small steps, how do those compare to, I suppose it would be shorter than the one long stride from the top hat man. So maybe if we ranked them from shortest to longest, we would say single umbrella man, single lady, triple umbrella man, and then single top hat man, newspaper boy, and then I guess, I don't know, I suppose the horse is probably supposed to be the 5th in that ranking, and then the 3 top hat guys come last. But that one is close to me. Like, maybe I could Photoshop these guys and stack them right up next to each other to really find out. But in any case, we can see that there are 1, 2, 3 of the triple umbrella paintings, Umbrella Man, and there is 1 of the triple top hats. So with that in mind, let me do another count of each of the types of painting and see. Let me just actually get out Notepad and write down what's the count on each of these. So that gives me 6 single umbrella guys, 4 ladies, 3 triple umbrellas, 8 top hats, 5 boys, 6 horses, and 1 triple top hat. Hopefully I have that right. Now, with all that said, like, we can try this here, but is this a date? I don't know that this is not actually making up a date. That's where I'm doubting that I'm on the right track, because it's supposed to be that 8 dates crack 8 safes. And now I'm ending up with like a 7-digit code that's not a date. Yeah, that's not it. And could I possibly like switch the order of the triple top hat and the horse? Maybe, let's try that. So that would be a 1 in the 6 to finish off. No, now I'm down the road of overcomplication. I can try switching the order of these, just going in reverse order, but that's, I don't think, gonna do it. 3, 4, 6. No, it's supposed to be 8 dates crack 8 safes. And I'm overcomplicating something. There's something simpler here that has to be in play. You've got an umbrella man, you've got a top hat man, you've got a lady, a boy, and you've got a horse. Those are 5 different types of things. Like, I'm just thinking, how, if it's supposed to be like the fence and the boudoir, I mean, maybe it's not exactly like those. It doesn't necessarily have to be a 4-digit date, because the time lock safe out in the shelter wasn't really a 4-digit date, was it? Okay, I'm gonna have to keep thinking about that one. For now, we do get to keep drafting at least. We don't even have to unlock it, huh? Oh, now I get the utility closet. Now you give this to me. That's a break room. That is great. We don't need a hallway at this point in the draft, and we don't need a utility closet at this point in the draft, because we've already, the only utility that the closet has is, well, it still has utility, right? It lets you bypass security doors when you don't have a key card. It lets you light up the dark room. It lets you bypass the gymnasium. So the utility closet can still do some things, but it's not nearly as useful as it once was. So we obviously take the break room here to keep our draft going without spending steps. And it you know, we don't need the keys necessarily, but it can get us a key card for tomorrow, which is fantastic. Assuming we get back here, but we should be able to. I think we're going to have the steps to do it. Now, with that said, we might as well get the keys because why not? More math, more better. Ooh, we get to square. 1 plus 3 is 4. Squared is 16. Okay. Now this is where I need to remember which order the squaring happens in, and I don't remember right away. Is it 4? We're eventually dividing by 15. So there's probably only a couple, or maybe one way that this ordering could make sense. And what would that be? So do we do 4? I think it's 4 squared, which is 16 minus 1, which is 15, divided by 15, which is 1. That's the only one that actually made sense. So you do the squaring first. So now 8 squared is 64. Then we subtract 20 to get 44, and we divide by 11 to get 4. And we get our keys. Not that we need them, but it's fine because we love playing math. Okay. Draft again. Go. And I guess we take a passageway so we can keep drafting. It does cost 6 steps, but we still have the dining room. We have not gone and gotten the dining room. Even if we somehow, I guess the trophy room is the only one we might be concerned about here where we could possibly exhaust ourselves. The trophy room would be 15 steps. And even then we're going to have 20 to 30 steps still to get back to the dining room. Like, this is totally fine. We take a passageway here. Is there ever a world where we would want the laundry room? Because the laundry room would let us do what? It's not connected to the boiler room, so we don't get to interact with our steps at all, but I don't think we would want to, unless it was to give us steps for coins, give us slightly more coins, but we can't do it in this case. So I don't see any reason for us to swap keys for coins or gems or anything like that. So we just take a passageway and keep the draft moving. Just don't overthink it. Take it. You got all the keys that you'll ever need. The only question is, let's just draft to the left of the passageway. I'm getting into that territory where I'm like, do I want to like think about going and spending my coins and then getting a freezer, or should I get if I get a furnace offer, should I take it in case I get a freezer after this? We're not even gonna have to worry about that decision. Is this where we take a lavatory? I don't really want to spend stuff. I want to save all my coins for the bookshop. So I guess we just take a lavatory. And then we actually do look in the lavatory in case there is anything we've missed. And then after that, we send the lavatory to Rare Purgatory once it gets offered in the conservatory. Oh my god, that was so many rhymes that I didn't mean to do. It's blueprints, guys. It's just the nature of the game. It makes you say things that you regret instantaneously. We just take the lavatory here. Save my coins, save my steps, other than wasting the steps to go in the lavatory. I once thought that maybe this was a drawer that we could interact with, but I have thought better of it. We've been back here, haven't we? Haven't we been back here at least once to re-examine this place? I don't know. There doesn't seem to be anything to do here. I don't think I'm missing anything in the lavatory. But at the same time, who knows? There might be some clue eventually that says, hey, you need to stand by the towel rack and then press panel number 7 that's on the lower floorboards, and then go over to the faucet and turn it 90 degrees, and there's, you know, this convoluted set of instructions. Nothing hiding in the wastebasket, nothing written on the toilet paper. I'm being so overcautious. HSS. Is this detail important? I'm noticing that the S here is written in the font that is part of the gallery, the gallery puzzle panels. That's how the S shows up on those panels. Why is this S different than this S? I'll take a screenshot of that because it's the only thing that I can think of in the laboratory that could be of any use to us. Otherwise, we keep it going. Nothing else to be done. Keycard door. They actually gave it to us. They actually gave us a trophy room. And we have 50. Okay, we're gonna go down to 24 steps, and that's totally fine. Because we can make it, we can still make it back to the dining room in plenty of time. We get to spread the gold to the conference room. We get to go through the foundation even if we want to. Although I don't think we have to. I think we can just, because we have a shovel, and we might as well like go back through the courtyard and these other places that have dig sites to dig up their gold, hopefully. But we get to look in the trophy room. Now, I don't know. I mean, the trophy room has 8 gems. That's not going to do us any good today. But we'll have added the trophy room to our list of drafted rooms. And who knows? Maybe there is a super important clue in here. So we take it. It's a new room. Even if we don't get to take advantage of those. It does feel rank 9. I think that was the other time that the trophy room showed up. It's very likely. Look at this. Oh my god. I feel like it's very likely that the trophy room is one of these that only shows up at rank 9. 8 gems. Jesus. Okay. And okay, so it's got this list on the wall that has, it's the same as what we have in the entrance hall. Nothing to see with the magnifying glass, as I would expect. And then there are here are the trophies over here. I thought they were up on the top shelf for a second, but they're in this part of the bookshelf. Okay, full house trophy and inheritance trophy. Boom. So is that really it? Is that all there is to it? It's just we get a spinny globe and then nothing more. we got the leopard, the stuffed leopard, the stuffed antelope, there are rhinos on the wall. My goodness, 2 rhinos. Boy, we have been on safari here, have we not? Good lord. We got a old school video camera. And the Sir Livingston, I presume, safari expedition hats. But, okay, let's check the flavor text. Trophy room, the polished brass of the treasured laurels filling the trophy cases of this room reveal the pride their owner must feel having earned them. Achievement is its own reward, but a gold cup is also nice. Yes, yes, yes. What, I guess room, it's not room 8. It is, aha, here it is. It is room, what would that be? Room 15. That was the one we were missing. So we have filled in one of those. We do in fact get a new room. We got 2 new rooms today, correct? So conservatory and trophy room have both been added to the room directory now. That trophy room is interesting because it's an elbow room that's also a wine cellar, right? It's essentially a wine cellar, but you have to have the gems in the first place. It's a weird one. And the fact that it also seems to only appear way up on rank 9. Okay, but regardless, the drafting portion of our day is done. So now, what remains on our list? We want to spread gold, and we want to go back to the conference room, and then we want to go to the bookshop. What else could we do with our day? We could go back to the coat check at some point and check in a gear wrench or something else. If we really want, like if we have the steps. We're at 23 steps now. I think the first order of business, well, if we're going to coat check something, we might want to do it while we're at security. That would make the most sense because it's connected to security, duh. So that might be our first decision here is what do we coat check, if anything? Well, regardless of whether we're coat checking anything, we're going back to security. That is happening no matter what. So let's at least get that out of the way. At the same time, I just realized, there are notes potentially to re-examine in some of these rooms. And one of the notes one of the notes here in the break room talks about H.S. Sinclair and Ann Babbage are the only two on the estate with network admin access. That does suggest network admin access. That we know we've been able to log in with Ann Babbage out in the grotto, but we were not able to do it with Sinclair because I only did SINC. Is it possible I was supposed to do the full name plus H? We should definitely try that next time. Because this note, because it's a red note, it suggests that like it's a lie, but it's also implying that these two do have network access. And there are, of course, others. That's what makes it a lie. It's not that neither of these have access. So we should be able to log in as H.S. Sinclair, shouldn't we? We just need to get the right number of letters in the last name. Okay, back in security. So now the only, like, the one consideration that I have here that's outside of the house is that we do have a magnifying glass. I would like to go back to the inner sanctum and check those stamps. The stamps, definitely the Arindia Aries stamp. That's one that we can add to our stamp collection if nothing else. But perhaps there's even additional details on there that are important. It's a small thing, but it is something I would like to check off our list if we can. We're gonna have, if we coat check something and then eat our food in the dining room, we have the lunchbox as well. We should have more than enough steps here. It shouldn't cost me to just take 2 extra steps here into the coat check to check a gear wrench, which I think is what I'm going to check. None of these others, these are all common enough where I don't feel the need to stash them away. We might not even need the gear wrench anymore, right? If anything, we would want it maybe after we've done everything we can with the mechanarium, and then we would just like put a whole bunch of these rooms to like rare or something, but I don't think that's going to be for a long time, if at all. So let's go ahead and... Oh, I did forget about payroll. I think we'll still be okay on steps here, but I did forget to do payroll. We're at least going to spread the... we know we're definitely spreading gold here. We'll take one look at the estate inventory. There's a gem somewhere that I haven't picked up. Where would that be? There's also a trunk in what room? I have plenty of keys. I could open that trunk if I remember where it's at. Well, regardless, I know that I am doing the office, right? We're logging into the network and doing the office. It's just a matter of whether I'm going to go back. It's only 4 additional steps to go get the gold from the... to get the gold from the maid's chamber if I run payroll. But it is also only 10 gold. So let's see what we get from... Let's see what we get from the office spread. Go ahead and spread gold. And now we will go ahead and just do an exit. And I'm going to check the inventory. See how much that actually gave us. Ooh, it only spread 22 gold. It only spread 22 gold. So that's going to put us at... We're going to be at 61 gold. I need to run payroll. If I want to buy everything in the bookshop, it's going to cost me 80 gold. There's 2 50 gold books, there's a 40 gold book, and there's a 20 gold book. That adds up to 160. Cut that in half, you get 80. We want to get to 80 gold. And I might be able to get there if I dig up, if I run payroll and dig up all the dig sites in the house. Ooh, it's going to be cutting it close, actually, isn't it? I mean, even if we don't quite get to 80, even if we're not able to buy every single thing, it will still let us buy the more expensive books. So we should still run the payroll and go get the stuff from the maid's chamber now, because we still have enough steps to make it to the dining room, and I think still do all the things that we want. So we'll run payroll as well, because we've had weeks go by where we didn't get to run payroll at all. So let's at least get that out of the way so we get some value out of that feature. Now that's assuming, of course, that I've kept track of my calendar correctly here. Oh, it starts on Monday. The week resets on Monday. I didn't have to run it yesterday. Was that still good? Did we end up spending all our gold? It might have been fine. Okay. So we're not going to get to buy out everything in the bookshop. That's fine, though. We passed up on the vault, and we got rewarded by getting a workshop. So we'll get the rest of the things in the bookshop eventually. We can't read all the books at once as is, so we might not get, like, the most possible value out of getting the sale today, but it's fine. So let's dig up what we can in the foundation. Pebbles. And a key that we can't use. If only we could bank keys. Dude, seriously? 2 keys? Guys, I need coins, not keys. Please. Please, oh please. I'm begging you, please. Did we get the boiler room thing here? Yeah, we don't have a boiler room, but we'll still have our country stew pie. Let's chow down. And then we take our lunchbox. When you reach rank 5, gain 10 steps, and we get those. So 42 steps should be more than enough to do everything that we want here. We go to the courtyard next, and we'll dig up those sites. Ah, this is where the trunk was. Okay, the trunk was in the courtyard. So we get to open that. And maybe get some coins. Yes, all right. We get the dice that we don't get to use. If only I had opened that trunk so long ago. I was just a little bit... Oh yeah, we had the coin purse. Dude, I really want to get coins from these dig sites now. That's perfect. There we go. Who knows? With the coin purse, maybe we still have a shot to get everything in the gift shop. I don't think so. I don't think we're going to get there. Did I say gift shop? I meant bookshop. If only I had opened that trunk, though, a while ago. But I was worried about keys at the time. I didn't know that keys were actually going to be in such abundant supply. Is there a dig site in the storehouse? Storeroom? I don't see one. So I think we're going to the conference room. We're definitely going to... Oh! The coin purse with the conference room. I'm a dingus. We might get there. We might actually have more than enough. I completely forgot we had the coin purse. There's too many things to keep track of, guys. We actually might get to 80. Could we possibly get to 80 gold? Unless the 22 coins that was being counted was the gold that was in... I think we're just going to come up a little bit short. Dang, we tried. We tried, man. We were so freaking close. We could try to go to the conservatory to dig up its dig site, but that means we go through the chapel. So I think that's as far as we're going to be able to take this. We ended up not really getting any usage out of the magnifying glass, but we only spent 4 gold on it, so we would have still been 1 short of 80. Okay, so I think what we do is we go to the bookshop, and we buy what we can. And then we try to go outside to use the magnifying glass in the inner sanctum, where we've already opened up those sigil doors. If only we had gotten just a little bit more, we could have fully bought out everything. 50, yeah, it would have been 80. So we can buy the 3 most expensive, right? We don't get Realm and Rune yet, but I think these others, obviously we want to get as much savings as we can. So we get all 3 of these. That's so hyped to get the sale on the same day as the bookshop. Let's go. Boom. Okay, 5 gold left over. And yeah, there's really... Let's see if those books got added to the form here. They did not. No, they did. They did get added. Oh, snap. So we do not have to get Drafting Strategy Volume 5. We could go for a new clue. We could do the Curse of the Black Bridge, and we could do History of Arindia. I mean, I want to check them all. I do want to check them all, God damn it. I'm not so sure that History of Arindia is going to give us as much information regarding sigils as I would have thought. So that one is not quite as high on my list as it was originally. But it might also be a good idea to do it. I don't know. We did just read the second edition. The Curse of Black Bridge. These are all going to be important to check eventually. And I like the idea that drafting strategy just helps us be better drafters. And then eventually being better, I always was like, be a better drafter first. And then, you know, you'll get to draft as many rooms as possible. And that will help you put together the puzzle pieces. Don't try to solve all the puzzling before you kind of get better at drafting. Like, I feel we're pretty experienced now at drafting. So the drafting strategy is not quite as like, day one, I would have wanted to read every single one of these, like ASAP. Now it's like, you know, we'll get to this when we get to it, but I guess we'll leave it for now. And then we'll figure out what we're going to do next time. So yeah, with the remaining steps, let's go back to the Inner Sanctum and check out a postage stamp. There might be a dig site in the hovel, but I don't think it's worth going for because it's not going to get me enough coins where there's no way we're going to get 5 coins out of that dig site, right? So we'll instead make a wish. We'll throw a coin into the the fountain, and we'll head to the Inner Sanctum. Okay, and sure enough, those doors do, for a second, they were closed. And I thought, wait a second, I don't have to open these again, do I? They open as you approach. So, okay. We can now add this stamp to our collection, as well as just seeing if there's any other details on here. I don't quite see anything that didn't stand out before. Is there? There feels like maybe there's like something right behind the... You've obviously got the queen, and then you have the Arindia shape or core. And then you have like what almost looks like a price tag that's hiding down to the right behind it. It's like it's got like a little dinosaur mouth and the number 10. Otherwise, I don't see anything that stands out here. You see Arindia Ares. So, but that does add it to our stamp collection, which is cool. Oh, this is interesting here. Looking more closely at this this Fen Ares, this Fen Ares like postmark does have Fen Oris. We see Fen Oris here. Oris was one of the names of, I mean, wasn't that the king eventually, or back in like the first era or something? I'll have to review the screenshots I took from the history book that we read today, but Oris was named in there. I had not noticed this before, that this is, it's not saying Fen Ares, it's Fen Oris when you look at it more closely. This one says Fen Ares, but on the bottom you've got the pentagon and then Fen Oris. And here we have the three inheritors that we read about before. Still not totally sure where this location is with the train tracks going through it. But okay, cool. Let's also... We already got the Morajai box over here. Let's recheck the Fen Ares while we're here. And was there anything on this note? Like, we've already got this postage stamp. Oh yeah, I see it here as well. Fen Oris. Huh. But that stamp is already in our collection, and then I don't think there's anything else to see on this note. Oh, the Dwindling Desolates army. Okay, the Desolates makes a little more sense knowing what we know now from the history book. History of Arindia. General Teskin on the side of the Red Army, and Desolates on the black side trying to put down the Red Rebellion, the Fensurrection. Okay, I don't think there's anything else to be done there, so we actually should have more than enough steps to make it back up through. We might even just be able to go through the house itself, but we also have this nifty shortcut now that lets us go to the foundation. and then back up to the break room. And we get to call it a day inside of the break room once again to get our security card. We should only have to put the key card in once. And now, yep, now that elevator is... It makes so much sense now why that elevator was not working the first time. I thought, oh, I've unlocked this really super duper cool thing. No, you needed to get the foundation first. You needed to get the foundation in place. But an interesting little... The Blueprints is such a freaking amazing game. I just can't say it enough. I do want to check glossary of terms at some point, but we'll save that for next time. I'm at the end here, and it is time for us to wrap up this installment of Blueprints. As always, thank y'all for hanging out with me to the end of the video. If you did enjoy it, consider doing that YouTube thing, hitting those buttons down below. Yeah, I'm so glad that we did, at the very least, the main objective today. We're gonna have so many gems that are kind of going to waste here, but that might be, we got the Havvel redemption run, and that might just be what you have to accept when you actually do get that Havvel redemption. You're gonna end up with a whole bunch of gems, probably, especially if you get a trophy room and you're converting steps into gems when you take that trophy room. So we drafted a couple new rooms. We're gonna go ahead and call it a day here in the break room. So we start tomorrow with a key card as well as 3 keys, thanks to our clock tower. And we did manage to, we got the workshop to common. Oh my God, that is so freaking hype. The workshop is now the same rarity as a corridor and a guest bedroom. Let's fucking go, man. Contraptions. Oh man, it's game on now. Now, I don't know, we might start drafting Trading Post and Tool Shed anytime we see them. I don't know. I would love to have gotten a freezer today at some point after spending our gold. Would love to have gotten that so that we could save our gems to draft a schoolhouse. But that'll have to wait for another time. And we might just take the schoolhouse next time anyways, because, you know, we have ways of getting gems. And we want to do all the classroom stuff. But yeah, what a fucking... We got the trophy room, we got the conservatory. I did not remember to go back and readjust the bedroom back to a standard rarity. Oh no, that crucial mistake. We're gonna have to go ahead and re-roll the whole thing. Start over on day 1. We got our garden hotel. Look at that fancy Mount Holly hotel sign. 4 green rooms and 8 bedrooms. The Havvel redemption run has come to fruition. And I can't wait to see what sort of contraptions with our commonplace workshop that we're now going to be able to craft on day 24. Tune in then to find out. Thank you all very much for joining me, and I hope to see you in the next one.